Yo guys, welcome back to another video, and today I am revisiting a piece of content that I've done like 3 months ago, and I haven't had the time to like go back to this, which is a shame, but now it's finally completed. I got this from Awsome himself saying that yep, it's done. So we are going to go through the next two characters that we didn't manage to go through last time, which is Cerebella and Parasoul. Okay, so first up is Armed Forces, and I do have to say Armed Forces is a variant that kind of has a what I like to call an old variant syndrome. What I mean by that is that in the past, with how she was actually pretty decent, but now the meta has changed so much. We've got a new fighters, new defenders, that her skill is just a bit too old for the current meta and will definitely need a bit of an upgrade. So this is her first signature ability. Getting hit has a 5% chance to grant armor, and then the second signature ability adds that by granting her unflinching. Personally, I think this should be combined into one signature ability, maybe increase the chance a bit, although 5% is still fine, and then give her a new second signature ability. I'm not sure what form that could be, but yeah, this I feel like should be combined. No variants that have recently been released have this kind of ability where the second signature ability is just an add-on from the first. Although this was common back in the day, but we are now in a different time and this is just not enough. So let's see what Awsome has to say about this variant. So this is the new signature ability. So getting hit has a 5-7-10% chance to grant armor and unflinching for 5 seconds. So yes, they combine both signature abilities and just make it 5 seconds and increase the chance to 10%. I think 5 seconds is a bit too short. I kind of like 5% chance and up to 10 seconds. So I'm not sure I agree with how the chances and the seconds are kind of reversed. And then the second signature ability is regain 2% health per buff expired from either fighter. Ooh. Oh wow. That is actually pretty good, yeah. Armed Forces was considered a monster back in old days, considering there wasn't much counters that ruins her completely. After that, she was pretty forgettable, but she still had her moments. These changes could keep her a monster, but to a mild degree. Anytime a buff expired from hers or her enemy, she regains her health, making her a nasty choice, especially if you're using heavy buff fighters against her. Okay, so now it makes sense why Awsome changed it to 5 seconds, because a shorter buff duration means she can gain a lot of health back very easily. I like this change. Regeneration kind of fits with her like air element type thing, and it synergizes well with her first signature ability. Is this gonna make her immediately better? Probably not as much. I think she's still slightly better, but not in like an amazing league, which I think is fine. Not every fighter has to be amazing. As long as they're unique and usable, I think that's a good design. I really like this. I think I fully agree with this new signature ability a lot. And having read the second signature ability, I now agree that the first signature ability should be like this. A higher chance, but a lower time allows for more regeneration per health. This is good, I like it. Maybe 7 seconds wouldn't be that bad either, actually. I like it. And next one, we have Heavy-Handed. Heavy-Handed is one of those variants where I kind of like the design approach of the variant. She does one thing. It's a very unique gameplay, making use of Cerebella's charge attack to inflict massive damage. I think that's really unique and a really clever way. Is she the best diamond variant? Obviously not, but not every diamond variant has to be like super amazing, right? As long as they're fun, they're to play with, they provide something new, I think that hits a really nice spot. And I think that's my opinion on Heavy-Handed, so I'm curious on what exactly they're planning to change here. So yeah, so the first signature ability is to gain enrage every 0.1 second while charging a charge attack. This allows Heavy-Handed to gain 5 stacks of enrage while charging and then hitting that one punch hit with a lot of force behind her. So the new signature ability is gain enrage and precision every 0.1 seconds while charging a charge attack. Okay, so it just adds precision. Wait, does this mean that you gain 5 stacks of precision as well? Because that's kind of crazy. Yeah, Cerebella with 5 stacks of precision. I don't know what to think about that. That's kind of insane. I think to keep with her theme of like massive one-hit punch, she should just gain a maximum of 1 precision, but I don't know how that would how to reword that. I would go with gain enrage every 0.1 seconds while charging a charge attack, gain precision when hitting 5 stacks of enrage, and enrage is removed after the next hit. I think that would be my direction. Although with that said, I do agree that precision in heavy-handed could be a really cool, unique ability, unique niche that no other Cerebella has access to. Precision is a powerful buff, and Cerebellas have no way to gain precision at all. So this could be a very unique thing that heavy-handed can bring, and of course makes sense because heavy-handed is a diamond tier variant. So why not just give her 1 stack of precision, just 1? I think that could make a whole lot of difference. So let's read the explanation here. Being one of the least impressive diamonds and still is to this day, heavy-handed suffers from nearly impractical SA besides unflinching being an excuse for defending, and her enrage instantly removed after a single hit, which really hurts her playstyle. The addition of precision could give her more options to her unfortunate victims who decides to be stupid enough to face this behemoth. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that word. But yeah, I like this direction. I like just giving her 1 stack of precision. I think 5 stacks of precision is a bit overkill, but I really like this. I think it's a really neat idea. And I think that is all for Cerebella, so we're just gonna go straight to the next character, which is Parasoul. Wriggly Blonde. So Wriggly Blonde is one of the few Parasouls that are meant for defense. On tier detonation, each active tier disables opponent's special moves, blockbusters, or tag-ins. The thing is that it relies completely on the AI to do any sort of work. Her only useful ability is her other signature ability, where every time you use a blockbuster, it has a chance to cut off the meter for your other blockbusters. And this signature ability, the one that relies on tier detonation, is a bit iffy since the AI, unless you bring a specific set of special moves, is unlikely to detonate your tiers and inflict these debuffs. So I'm curious to see what Awsome has in for her. So the new signature ability is while near a tier, gain armor and auto block after 1 second, and the opponent suffers disable blockbuster special moves and tag in. Woo! Wait, what? So if Wriggly Blonde is near a tier, she gains armor and auto block, and the opponent suffers these debuffs? That's kind of weird. I was thinking a better way to do it is having an ability like Shadow Ops, while if she's near a tier, she gains armor and auto block, and if the opponent is near a tier, they suffer these debuffs. I think that is a more elegant way to do it, because I don't know if it makes sense. Wriggly Blonde being near a tier and then the opponent suddenly suffering these debuffs. That's kind of weird to me, but I like this. It doesn't rely on tier detonation, which is difficult to do. I think tier detonation should be exclusively for offensive variants where the player can control it, because AI is not great at that. Armor and auto block, of course, are very good. We've seen Mod Leader, and of course, it's a tier, so it has more limited use, but I think that's pretty good. And you can stack these as well, right? So if you just stay near your tiers for 5 seconds, you gain 5 stacks of armor and 5 stacks of auto block. Ooh, that is good. I don't know how practical it will be, but it is a nice addition and a nice utility that we have not seen before. And let's read the explanation here. Wriggly Blonde original purpose long before numbers updates that keeps on adding defenders was to screw the enemy around and mess up their combo and disabling moves. That's true. Unfortunately, these were severely tied to coin toss, and disabling will occur twice against enemy special moves, which really hurts her signature ability. These changes, while I doubt it will be challenging, it does give incentive to see her from both sides on the playfield. I really like this. I think it's a pretty good direction. Oh wait, the first old signature ability is an ore, so it doesn't even inflict all 3 debuffs, it just inflicts one or the other. Oh, that's really bad. Okay, so in summary, I like the fact that she gains armor and auto block near a tier, but I would like if the opponent is near the tier, they suffer these debuffs. So kind of like a Shadow Ops route on how it inflicts debuffs on the opponent. I think that makes more sense, but I really like this. Next one is Risky Ginger, and ooh boy. Risky Ginger, she has been dubbed as pretty bad diamond variant because primed as a gold Parasoul variant that you can get from prize fights kinda does a very similar thing. She gains enrage whenever she releases a tier, and it's much faster than how Risky Ginger gains it, which is by hitting a dashing opponent. and of course that's not very consistent, that's quite hard to do, and therefore her use has been not great. Why spend tons of coins and keys on Risky Ginger when you can just invest in like 2 primed instead? But she does have a higher damage ceiling, she could do more damage, she just needs to gain those enrages much more consistently. So I think the first big change that she needs is this clause when hitting a dashing opponent. It's fine, but I think it needs to be, you know, remember Infernal Twin, the Fuqua Fire variant, the bronze one? I think her clause was when hitting a dashing opponent or attacking opponent, so it's more consistent and it's an easier way to activate her ability. And I think that should be the clause for Risky Ginger as well, especially since she's a diamond tier variant. So the new signature ability is inflict death mark for 15 seconds, so the same, and gain enrage when hitting a dashing or an attacking opponent. Okay, so exactly the same thought that I had. And a stack of enrage is removed after each blocked hit. So it just basically makes her easier to gain those enrages. So when this says an attacking opponent, it means if the opponent is attacking you and you block, and then you punish the opponent after they make a mistake, that counts as an attacking opponent, and therefore you will gain enrage from that, instead of just having to rely on them dashing. Because most often than not, opponents will dash towards you and then suddenly block. That happens way too much and it's just so inconsistent. So this is a really nice change, and I think it's well deserved as well, since Risky Ginger is a diamond tier variant, so she deserves, you know, a way to have this easily. I think it doesn't make sense if she just have the hitting a dashing opponent clause. The Risky Ginger has been always the case of mockery due to how incredibly annoying intercepting an opponent works, which limits the use of her signature ability. Yes, she's balanced as well, but there are some fighters with much better interceptions got away with it. This change would make her an incredible attacker who can destroy even the toughest of the tough defenders with some effort spent, gain enough enrage stacks, and go ham on these opponents. So I agree with these changes a lot. I think this is a really nice way to buff Risky Ginger without changing much of her kit, because I think she already has a lot going for her. Unblockable blockbusters is very powerful. And I guess that's a consideration on why she was limited to hitting a dashing opponent as her clause. But I think now we've seen that this is just very inconsistent, and hopefully this added clause will be a reality in the future. So I think that's it. Oh yep. So that is all that Cerebella and Parasoul, and I agree with a lot of what Awsome has in store. I think these are really neat changes. So I'm thinking of like what are the variants that Cerebella and Parasoul have that I wish got a little buff. First up, I think Somersault is a bit overloaded with her kit and could use a bit of a nerf. Like if you just split her first 2 signature ability into 2 different fighters, those fighters would still be pretty good. But Somersault has both combined with a really high attack stat as well, so she's just crazy good. Most people only use her for her first signature ability, and that's more than enough to make her a top tier attacker. The second signature ability just does a bit too much for very little reason. It's cool that she can remove all debuffs and gain precision, but Parasoul has immunity, taunt, and on-demand precision, so there's very little use of this ability. But you know, I'm not complaining. Somersault as she is great, and if she gets nerfed a bit, I won't be surprised, but I won't be too sad either. Next, I think Big Top could use a slight buff. Like Armed Forces, I think these 2 signature abilities could be combined into one, and she could use a second signature ability that could improve her defensive capabilities. Because right now, all you need to do is kill her once, remove the buffs, or just wait until the buff disappears for 6 seconds, and then just kill her again. She just adds nothing new to the table, a pretty boring variant, and I wish there was just slightly something more to her, especially like a new signature ability. Combine this ability into one and give her a new signature ability. I think that would be pretty good. Okay, so aside from those variants, I think all the other variants are good, or at least unique in what they do, so I don't have any complaints, and I think that's gonna be it for now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you like these kinds of content. I will be going through more of these in the coming weeks, so stay tuned for that. I know the last one was like 3 months ago. I've been meaning to like get back to this, but now I finally have the chance. So yeah, thank you all for watching. If you have any comments, feel free to drop it in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think about these buffs, these changes, whether you agree with it, whether you don't, whether it's a bit too much or whether it's a bit too weak. I want to hear your ideas. And that is all for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you in the next video.